Hello, everyone. I'm Reverend Nick Bullitt, the engagement catalyst here at One Spirit, and I am here today with Susyn Reeve. How are you?
I'm very good, and I'm very happy to be here with you today, Nick.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here with you as well. We're here to talk about your upcoming workshop that's all about creating experiential workshops. So, can you start out by just sharing with us a little bit about your professional and spiritual background?
Yeah, it really started when I was 14 years old for both. And I wrote in my journal at that time, what would the world be like if everybody loved themselves? Now, I'm sure I was not loving myself that particular day, but somehow those words came through me. And in terms of my professional life, for 35 years, I did organization development and leadership coaching. And there was a piece in that work that was always on the being part of being a leader, being a business owner, being an executive, whatever it was. And that was influenced, I realize now, by that question of what would the world be like if everyone loved themselves, with the idea that our relationship with ourselves forms the blueprint for all the relationships in our lives. So for 35 years, I had this really wonderful OD and leadership development coaching practice. And then and I think it was in 2005, I left that. I had already been ordained as an interfaith minister. I had written my first book called Choose Peace and Happiness. And my work during these past 20 years has focused more directly on deepening, deepening and expanding our capacity to be, give, and receive love. And that's really the spiritual focus for me. For me, God equals love, and there's a loving energy that I can tap into. And when I heal my heart of the wounds of the past, and I really come from a place of love, I have greater compassion for myself, for others. I'm kinder, and I have a much deeper appreciation of the journey. Now, where do groups fit into all of this? Is a good deal of my work has been leading groups since the 1970s. And I became fascinated with group dynamics, taught that for 9 years at NYU, and continued to do it from the point of view of connection matters more than anything. And in the business part of our lives, leveraging our genius is a totally different experience in terms of getting more people involved than simply doing one-on-one work.
Right. And so that's the name of your workshop. So, what inspired you to do this workshop for One Spirit?
One of the things that I noticed when I spoke in different spiritual communities, and oftentimes after a Sunday service, there was a workshop, is that as dynamic as the speaker, the minister might be when delivering the message, oftentimes when leading the group, their understanding of creating group, creating community didn't exist. It was, they were good with the content, but really didn't understand what it meant to facilitate the group. As I mentioned to you a bit earlier, I spoke with somebody who was a companion learner in the program in 2017. And one of the things that she said to me was, I remember that you said in the workshop at the beginning, get everyone's voice in.
Hmm.
Have everybody say something in terms of the creating the circle. And she went on to say that that's advice she has given to people in her spiritual community who lead groups. So it's some of these simple ideas that make such a big difference.
Can you share a little bit about the format of the workshop with us so that we can get a feel for what we can expect?
Sure. So I'll be going over theories of group development. I will be sharing information about the use of experiential exercises. There will be work that you'll do on your own, and there'll be work that you'll do in small groups, and there will be some work that you'll do between the sessions. The sessions are a full day Saturday and then 2 evenings. The goal of which is for you to, by the end of the last evening, have an outline for a workshop that you'll do. And we'll also focus very specifically on some of these questions of what's the particular focus of your group? You know, in a spiritual community, it's easy to say, well, you know, this is open for everyone. Well, possibly everyone could benefit from it, but it's important to know that in the marketing, in the promoting of the group, that you really have to be focused on particular audience. Otherwise, your marketing material is, you know, it doesn't speak directly to me. So whether your interest is in grief, in recovery, or if it's deepening your spiritual practice, or it has to do with stepping into being an elder,
Right.
whatever it might be, that clarity helps in really focusing on your audience so that your exercises, the examples that you give, really speak to the members of your community.
Can you share a little bit more about the experiential part of creating the workshop?
There'll be a section on icebreakers. Then, once that is done, how do we get everybody's voice
Hmm.
into the room? So the experience will be, I will ask people what's something that they particularly want to focus on in their group. And so it might be, let's say it's a group about deepening your spiritual practice. It may be coming up, let's say you're doing this as an 8-week group that's meeting an hour at a time. There might be different experiences from different spiritual and religious traditions to bring into the room. So that's some of what we will be doing in the room. And ideally, participants in this workshop will be able to practice that in smaller groups, in breakout groups, and then get feedback on were the instructions clear, feedback on let's say you're doing a prayer or a guided visualization. Was that clear? Was there enough time for somebody to inhale and exhale, or was I talking about it so quickly that there really wasn't time for that to happen?
Right. Aside from your objectives, what do you hope that participants walk away from having taken your workshop?
Being clear about the group that they want to lead and a design to do that, as well as a community of support specifically focusing on leading groups, and enough time in breakout groups where people will be able to specifically share their designs and practice an icebreaker, practice an exercise that they want to do in their group.
Hmm. And so giving them that confidence that they can feel like they're walking away knowing, okay, I know how to do this now.
I'm going to leave you with what I find most important, and that is connection matters more than anything. It's connection with ourselves with a capital S, connection with the God of our understanding. It's connection with the participants, and it's connection with the material. And while the material is important, if the connection isn't there, it's more difficult for somebody to get it.